Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Engines of Somewhere Wales. Before we begin, I just want to say thank you to all of you who gave such amazing support on the first video. It really means a lot and shows me that you guys are really interested in new content I make. Anyway, enough rambling on, let's get on to the video. So unlike the Big Iron episode, Elmira has a much more complex story when it comes to lore in Somewhere Wales. As of now, there are two lore timelines with her, so I decided to explain both of them in this video. We'll begin with the 040 variant lore, and then move on to the 240 variant lore. In the year 1919, Ethan & Sons Limited would build a small purple tender engine named Elmira. She was ordered by the railway to work the railway's brand new side business of passenger transport. The railway would obtain a light railway order, allowing them to begin passenger operations at Andreas using the station's infrastructure from the nearby Porthlife Railway. This move would put a lot of stress on the two railways' relationships, which would create a long rivalry between the two companies until the Porthlife Railway would eventually close. Elmira would haul express passenger service up and down the main line from Andreas to Kittsburg and eventually Quarryman's Halt, along with being used for goods service occasionally during that time. Elmira is an 040 tender engine, meaning she has no front pilot wheels, 4 driving wheels, and no rear trailing wheels. Elmira's total length is about 15.5 feet long, 5.5 feet wide, and about 8 feet tall. Her tender is about 7 to 8 feet long, 5.5 feet wide, and 3 feet tall, making her overall length 23.5 feet. Elmira weighs around 12 to 13 tons, and she has a top speed of around 35 studs per second, which is about 21 to 22 miles per hour, with an operating speed of about 30 studs per second, or 18 to 20 miles per hour. Fun fact, during that point in 2021, Elmira had the ability to run a 300 studs per second, which made her the fastest engine in game at the time. However, this would be fixed in a later update. Elmira has a total tractive effort of around 6,000 lbf with a horsepower rating of 352. She is equipped with a small brass whistle on the front of her cab. Here's some samples of her voice. Elmira would run on the line as the railway's sole passenger express locomotive for a short while, as in 1921, the railway would trial an 060 named Gilbert, who would take over some of the passenger trains Elmira used to take and eventually would take over all of Elmira's passenger services. During 1939, Elmira would be converted into an 042 tank engine, where she might have worked on freight trains until being sold off to an industrial facility in the early 50s, before the railway's eventual collapse. Elmira would work at the industrial facility until being withdrawn and eventually abandoned. A sad end to a very unique and fancy-looking locomotive. Now it's time to get into the lore on the 2-4-0 variant of Elmira. Do note this is going to be a lot shorter than the 040 variant, mainly because there's not much lore as of the making of this video, but I'll try my best. In 1913, Ethan & Sons Limited would construct a medium-sized tender engine named Elmira. Elmira was ordered and brought onto the railway to handle the passenger work that had just begun. Elmira would run the express service until Gilbert arrived in 1921 and replaced her on all her passenger services, and would be reassigned onto goods trains. Elmira is a 240 tender engine, meaning she has 2 pilot wheels, 4 driving wheels, and no trailing wheels. Her total length is around 25 feet long, being pretty much the same for her width and height as the 040 Elmira. Her top speed and operating speed are the same on the 040 variant. Her tractive effort is about 6,500 lbf with an HP rating of 606. Elmira has the same whistle as her 040 version, but it being lowered. Here are some samples. Now, as for 240 Elmira's continued lore, well, she has none as of the making of this video, so I got 2 options. I can A, make up my own headcanon for whatever happened to her, or B, skip this section and move on to model history. yeah, I'm just gonna skip it for now. Elmira first started development around late 2018 before the game's official release. She was originally planned with an 042 wheel configuration, however this would be removed as according to Train 1557 during testing, the wheels would basically just roll off should a curve be sharp enough. This was due to constraints having been introduced recently and Elmira was just not behaving with her rear truck. As such, she would be released as an 040. This would be her standard wheel arrangement up until December of 2021. When Elmira was originally added in, she would spawn a quarryman salt along with the original green bug boxes. During April of 2019, she would be moved to Andreas, where she would stay until it being relocated to God's Keep in 2022 due to Ralph's removal and thus God's Keep not having an engine to spawn there. On March 3rd, 2023, Elmira would change quite drastically, losing the purple livery, having spoked wheels instead of the filled-in semi-spoked wheels she originally came with, along with an updated design and brand new toggleable features similar to Big Iron. During her time in game, Elmira has had several different little Easter eggs in her toolbox, ranging from a tank to wooden models of Colina and Aeolus. Today, Elmira can be found at God's Keep, ready to haul passenger trains down to Andreas and back up, and she'll continue to do her express duties for the foreseeable future. Also, side note, but at one point Elmira was considered to be an 060, but this was removed because it didn't run well, which is probably a good thing, because like 060 Elmira is just no. Why does this exist? Just no. So, Elmira's IRL basis. This is gonna get really tough to figure out, as Elmira doesn't resemble any currently existing narrow gauge steam locomotives that I know of. However, there is one engine she is loosely based on, according to Train 1557. So, yeah, let's get into that. So, this is gonna be quite a stretch, I know, but according to Train 1557, he told me once that he loosely based Elmira off the Tallyclin Railway's number 2 Dolgotch. Dolgotch was originally delivered to the Tallyclin Railway in 1866 and ran the line along with the Tallyclin number 1's engine, Tallyclin. To this day, Dolgotch continues to run on the Tallyclin, mainly hauling passenger excursions up and down the right-of-way. Elmira seems to share a similar shape with Dolgotch in its boiler length, cab shape, and possibly the funnel, but lacking the side coal bunkers, the driving wheels being much closer along with the extra pilot wheel, and the windows on Elmira being slightly bigger on the current rebuild and massive on the original model. Of course, I'm not 100% sure if I'm right, and I might have misheard what Train 1557 told me, so if you're watching, Ethan, please tell me in the comments or in the Summer Whales Discord if I misheard you. As for other contenders, well, I can't really find any others who look even remotely similar to Elmira, so, Dolgotch is the most likely the closest we'll get to for now, but, who knows? Maybe there was an engine that looked like Elmira in the past and we just didn't know about it. I doubt it, like, I'm probably pretty sure it would have showed up on Discord, but, or not Discord, it would have showed up on Google, but, you know, yeah, I can, wonder. Well, that wraps up this second episode of Engines of Somewhere Wales. Thank you all so much for the support you gave me for the first episode. I really didn't know if you guys would take interest in this sort of series, but the support from the first episode pretty much gave me the answer. Huge thanks to Aaronbradyyt123 for the tank engine Elmira photos and video footage, and an especially massive thank you to Ethan, aka Train 1557, for sending me the prototype Elmira screenshots and allowing me to use them in this video. Without those two, this video would have been extra hard if not impossible to find media for. Links to their socials will be in the description below. Anyway, tune in next time for episode 3, where I'll talk about the K1 himself, Gary. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all later.